All right, and welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Thursday, July 18th, 2024. If you've done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So, markets here, another slice here. So, spiders down one, Q's down one as well. And the Dow and the Russell not really helping out here. So Dow down 1.3, did make a new all-time high intraday. And the Russell here down 2.25. Now, of course, this is going to be down 2.25. It's proportionate, right? You had a 15% move here, I believe somewhere close to that. So a proportionate, even just to take from this low here, a fib, a 50% retrace, just to retrace 50% of it would take you back to 212. So pretty good reflex here to the downside after a massive move to the upside there. And honestly, a pretty good exit, honestly, yesterday. But either way, market's coming in here, and we are slicing pretty good. We got down finally to the level we've been talking about for a while, right around 55.25 here. Testing the or piercing the 20 moving average as well. My guess is tomorrow they'll probably push this down into 55. Depends on what we do here. We got about 30 minutes left. Doing the video a little early when we cover Netflix earnings with members after the bell here in our live stream. So I'm doing the video a little early, but either way, good slice for the market. Now, a couple of things. So we're kind of seeing that it's almost like seller rotation here. So dispersion's still kind of on the table here, but seller's sort of rotating, right? So what do I mean by that? Triple Qs here not really making a lower low. I believe we just made a slight lower low now with that little cut there. But really the concentration of the selling's coming from the spiders, the Dow, and the Russell. And again, it's been a semiconductor-led sell-off. And the SMH here, I talked about that 50-day moving average yesterday. We did exactly what I thought we would do, is just catch that little tail and then right into the 382 as well. So we'll see if that offers some support. A couple of things to remember. I know a lot of people are getting antsy here, but it is an OPEX week too. So we have OPEX tomorrow. A lot of this stuff, a lot of these flows here are related to that. And markets here not selling off on heavy volume. So we're not seeing that heavy distribution volume in the spiders that we tend to look for. If we had 100 million shares, I'd be a lot more concerned here, but it's not really near that. Now, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't respect the market. We've gone up for quite a while here. And, sellers kind of coming into a pretty good level. We did get... one thing that does certainly catch my attention is we definitely got above 50. I talked about this last week. 49, you're starting to get there. When you get above 50 on the bulls here, it's usually a little bit of a sign that you're getting close to some type of a high. Although fairness, the bears did uptick too, but bulls getting above 50 is something that definitely catches my eye. And it's why these hourly, you take a look at the NQ, we should be set for some type of a pretty good bounce here. In the NQ, where's my hourly? There we go. Again, it's why this fat hourly divergence hasn't really played out, right? We kind of got a bid, semis kind of led, but we just couldn't V-shape, right? We just had this kind of rollover. Too many people off sides. I don't think buyers were punished enough. Currently, perhaps a gap down tomorrow, and you can see the 4-hour, same kind of look there on the NQ. But perhaps a gap down or a test of 55 tomorrow could do that. We've seen similar things happen on OPEX Friday when you sell into it. But good slice here for the markets. Next couple, really the next week or so should be important. We have the Fed coming up. We got PCE next week. And we'll see what this market does. Volatility definitely uncorked with VIX yesterday. And we're above that 16 handle. So VIX continuing to bid up here. And pretty good rip there. So spiders down 1%, trying to bounce right now. I think if they were going to save this, they would have done it by now. You probably would have wanted to see that done by 3 o'clock. But nonetheless, the positive here, the big positive, is that it's a semi-led sell-off. And we're not seeing follow through from the SMH. In fact, the SMH has not made a lower low. And NVIDIA has not taken out the 50. It didn't even really test it. Technically didn't even touch it. So takeaways here, definitely respect this. We all know a correction's coming eventually. I talked to members about dates, July 13th to look for. Tech top out 2 days before that. That was technically a Saturday anyway, but that doesn't mean we go straight down. we are getting, into those hourly kind of oversold levels, hourly divergent levels, seller exhaustion. You do have a trend line here on the Qs that's been defended all day. Granted, we have sliced it a little bit. Again, we could gap below it tomorrow, and bounce back up. I do think the likely scenario here is lower highs in chips. I've been saying that for a while, and in specifically most technology. But if the market can hold up, again, we could still see certain sectors here continue to lead. IGV can still, this is a pullback, but it's not in bad shape here. We've talked about the Russell. I know it's down big right now, but there's plenty of room for higher lows here. So I know everybody's all like, oh, crapping on the rotation trade. But, when you go up 15% in 5 sessions, you're going to pull back 2-3% in a day. So bottom line, respect the sell, but just remember OPEX, not a lot of volume. And right now we have that divergence from the Qs where they're not making lower lows. So when you see the NASDAQ leading like that, it's generally a sign that we can get a bounce here. Does that result in lower highs? It's increasingly more likely. We'll have to see what the close looks like tomorrow, the weekly close. And then next week will be important. We have the Fed coming up. So that's going to be on that's 2 weeks. I'm sorry, 2 weeks. But next week we do have PCE. So stand corrected there. But we do have PCE leading into that. But nonetheless, nothing goes down in a straight line. And again, already seeing kind of everybody on TV start to freak out. We've seen this happen many times over again. But nonetheless, I'd be watching 55 pretty carefully. If that holds by the end of the week, I think we get some more relief. It would be a concern if we close the week below that. So just be aware. Qs here, again, we talked about that. There's your trend line right there. 50 moving average, not far below. So again, if we were to be down, big time tomorrow, I would think that this is going to hold. It is major. You are coming from an extended place, very much like the semis. And I think if the semis can hold this 50 MA and bounce up here, I think that's really the fulcrum of the market right now. NVIDIA, obviously AMD getting hit. Oh, and Netflix has obviously, this is a wild card. If Netflix blows out and, rips higher, that can really help the market out. There does seem to be a little bit of negative gex on this, maybe to 600, which I think is not a terrible buy the dip or even like a day tradable level. You got a 618 right there. Could be a day tradable level tomorrow if it gets down there, but that is sort of the wild card here. But nonetheless, IWM, again, 212 area is your pullback level. If we were to get there, essentially back testing the breakout. Dow pulling back pretty sharply down 1 1/3. 400 whole round number, obviously, and then you got the 20 moving average up sloping, catching up to price, which should catch up around that time there. We talked about the SMH. There's the SOX too. So just testing that 50 MA and getting a bounce. We'll see if that can get another bid here, but I'm still expecting lower highs there. So I think chips are in trouble. IGV here down 1.7. Again, weekly chart. Again, plenty of room for higher lows here. This can stay firm and consolidate this move. It can go higher. So right now, obviously a pretty good slice, but still above the moving averages and still above support. But definitely pulling back. Everything's pulling back today. Dow Transport's here down 1.8. Again, 15.6 to 15. We'll say 15.5 to 15.6 are your pullback levels here. For DJT, this was going to be resistance here. We hit it so many times and got rejected there, but good pullback across the board here for the markets. And bonds not really doing a whole lot. It's not really a bond driven move. Again, a lot of it's coming from the headlines with as far as chips. Again, it's a chip driven rally. That's why I've been hyper focused on the SMH. And oh, by the way, 254 is a big level for SMH, so keep that on your radar on an intraday basis. But 2-year yield, yield's kind of creeping up here. And I still think bonds right now, I don't know, the long end I think feels a little crowded, specifically bonds, not the yield. But we did get a little uptick today. I think we had an auction and TLT backed off. Again, yields have been a little bit of a non-event lately. I do think they will come into play by the end of the year though. There's your level on SMH. I'm watching right around 254. Why? Because that's the low from yesterday. And I think above that could squeeze and put a pretty substantial low in place in the short term. These are all just short-term levels I'm talking about. XHB, so that actually came all the way back in. Yeah, it's just fractionally positive. DR Horton with a big bid, up 10% after earnings, so new all-time highs there. But XHB pulling back afterwards. Again, big up move here, right? So it's, I know, like looking at the IW, I'm like, oh, it's down like 3%. Yeah, but it had a 15% move, right? So same thing with XHB. Yes, it's pulled back very sharply off the highs, but you also had a massive move up there. So the move is going to be proportionate, right? The corrective move is going to be proportionate to the size of the initial leg. So be aware of that. VNQ was up earlier, down 1%, but you know, it's still kind of hanging in there right now. And again, this has plenty of room for a higher low as well. So there's some, I mean, there's obviously weakness across the board here, but it's not like it's not like charts are broken here. XLF, again, made new all-time highs, pretty good reversal there. See 42 to, 42.50, your previous all-time high. Those are your pullback levels. KRE, again, all the way up to, and got almost up to 58 and then finally got rejected here. That probably, this resistance probably holds by the end of the week. That was a big level up there. KBE, same thing, obviously. Big weekly level. Didn't quite get up to that trend line, but it's close enough. I mean, we could adjust that trend line too. Right? Why don't we just do that? There. See, this is why you always got to, when you're drawing trend lines, just adjust it. Tell it, where does the market go? Oh, that's where I'm going to draw it to. So it's never going to be perfect. And just go where the market's telling you to go to and respect what the market tells you. All right, broker dealers here down 1.16. So taking out the breakout bar, short-term support is 640. So simple there. Crude here hanging in there okay. We had a contract roll today on oil. And yeah, I mean, oil's very interesting. Again, I've talked about this a lot recently. And if this can firm up, and it's starting to, this can go higher. Seasonally it shouldn't. Election year it shouldn't. But what I'm seeing is, if these moving averages on the weeklies hold up and separate, and by the way, nobody cares, but monthly has a golden cross. So I know everybody loves their golden cross. I don't love them, but I just think it's ironic that you've got that when everybody's talking about recession. But either way, crude here holding up. And if this stays firm, I think this can go higher. But you take out that breakup bar low, then it's probably not going to. So again, I'm neutral on oil. XLE, one of the strong sectors today. And that's with oil down. So XLE up 22 cents. You got some pivots we're coming into, previous highs, right? But, this is starting to look pretty good. Starting to kind of curl back up, right? Monthly, what do you got? Bull flag, 1, 2, 3, pullback and a pop. XLE is looking pretty good. OP, same kind of look. It's a little softer, but same kind of look. And OIH down 0.5%, but not much. Again, just climbing higher here, higher lows, curling back up. And these energy plays are acting well. CCJ is not. Uranium's a little bit weak. You could make a case now. I guess not the best, but you could make a case there's a head and shoulder there. I'll entertain it. It's valid, but the weekly is still really strong. So I'll entertain it down to like 44.70. I'll entertain it down to the weekly 50. And you got the 200 MA there as well. I mean, this could fail very easily. I really don't see too many problems with uranium here on the bigger time frames. The URNM is where it gets a little interesting. So specifically on CCJ, I don't see problems. But on the URNM, you got to stay above that tomorrow. And the NJ, same thing. It's right there. Just above it right now. So CCJ I still think is fine, but the broader sector is a little bit weaker. Nat gas got a bounce today. Had inventories. I think it was just really one-sided here. It's actually trying to flag this move. I'm just avoiding it. I have no trade on it. If you could trade back above 221, close above that breakdown bar and above these pivots, you could probably squeeze up. But it can do that without me right now. So I don't really have interest. I was really hoping for, sometime I want it to be down in the morning. Like I was interested in buying it. Was it? Yeah, Tuesday. if we were down in the morning, but we weren't. If we were down in the morning today, I probably would have bought it, but we weren't. So I like nat gas doesn't like to reverse in the afternoon, so I just don't really like to test it in those scenarios. Dollar index, nice reversal again. This is why I don't trust these one-day moves. Everybody's such a prisoner of the moment in pretty much everything. And you know, watch this too. Like if we were to recover here today, you know, everybody who is like freaking out about everything all day long, all the guys who are on TV, like this is hit, so it's a margin call and all this stuff. You know, you gotta like zoom out, man. There's like more than, you know, don't be a prisoner of one day's action. And the dollar index here again, as long as 103.88 holds on a weekly close, it's still a bullish inside bar. That's all you need to know. And on the monthly too. So it's the same level on the monthly. So even on the weekly, it could fail and then it could come back up by the end of the month and still, you know, trade higher. By the way, this starts to connect around September. Watching that really closely because I'm just going to go to yields here. But I think this is a bullish consolidation pattern. It's sloppy, but I think that's what it is. And if this firms up by September and starts to like go up, I think that's where the dollar would break out of that wedge. So that's a long-term kind of play that I'm watching, but that range is tightening and it's not going to stay in this range forever. It's going to pick, but it's still got some time on the clock. But dollar, nice rally. Gold coming back in, nothing terrible, down 0.5%, still right at all-time highs. I think a higher low over the next month is something you want to buy. Silver, same thing, but now possible lower highs on the daily. So that opens the door for maybe 28 after all. Remember, I was looking for this 28 to get hit. It never did. I was like, damn it, you know, it didn't get there. So now this bull pattern starting to roll over. Yeah, if we can get it into 28, might be a good opportunity. Let platinum, big outside move down. Let's see if this trend line can hold again. It's been hit 4 times, so it can break. But it's into that. By the way, I want to take a look at GDX. Yeah, GDX down 1.7. It's not terrible. SIL down 3. Yeah, I think you want to buy a dip in this kind of soon, in the next month or so, if we can get it. Palladium here down as well. Let's see if it goes down for triple bottom. Copper, big outside move down. Again, lower high, failure at the green bar, so it's selling. This is the first little area of support. I'm not stepping in front of it here. If it wants to bounce, I don't care. There's a couple levels. I'll just give them to you. I don't really care. 416, 50% fib from that low. And then from the breakout, well, the prior pivot to the breakout, you're into a 618 right here at 424. So you're into levels now. I'm just going to go with the bigger one just because I think it wants to overshoot a little bit. 420 is a whole round number as well. And you also have, you got like the 200 down here. I just think it's a commodity too. It can always overshoot. So, but it is interesting. I'll watch what it does on Friday. But it could be good for a bounce and a good tradable low, I think. But I haven't gotten in front of it yet. But it is into the first level now. For all intents and purposes. Bitcoin still holding up. So Bitcoin not really participating in the sell. It's down just 76 basis points. That's nothing. That's like a 1 second candle for Bitcoin. You know, if you just, again, I'm going to say it over and over and over. You guys know, if it just flags here, it'll go higher. You know, if it rolls over, 60K is your first level. ETH bucking the trend here. Again, positive news there. That's working on a bullish inside bar. So let's see here. So market getting a little bounce off the low. It's not great. SMH above 255. So we'll see what this does here. Again, Netflix is going to be a wild card. SMH green. So that's a leading indicator here. That's positive for bulls. Again, when I say positive for bulls and like when I'm talking about bouncing, I mean like a bounce for like, you know, the next couple days, like a tradable bounce here. I'm not saying like, you know, go all in on the market. This is a dip to buy for the next 6 months. But I mean, in the short term here, I see the seller divergences on the NQ hourly and 4 hour. It's OPEX. There's a very light volume here in SPY. You're going to tell me people are panic dumping here with 41 million shares. I don't really buy that. Volatility is uncorked, but again, if there's not real sellers here, volume wise on SPY, kind of opens the door here for put buyers to get roasted if they can't break certain levels. So again, this is all short-term stuff. We'll see what we get. Markets closing in 15 minutes. SMH starting to bid up. So if that can hold up and recover, I think that's a positive for tomorrow. And we'll see what we get. Netflix is the wild card. 600 maybe a day tradable level. We'll see. I have my suspicions. I owned Netflix a little while ago. I did take a small gain on it. I was looking for it to go a little bit higher. My suspicion was that they dumped it here so that they could just gap it to like 725, because that's what they do, because they're assholes. And everybody wants to short double top. I've seen a lot of people talking about shorting double top. But you also have a lot of put decay in big tech, so it wouldn't surprise me if it dumped either. It's a wild card. We'll not make too much out of it right now. But watch the SMH. Watch the Qs. If they continue outperforming tomorrow, I think we get a relief bounce, and we'll just take it from there. So anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.